The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. Empowering Influence, a Lincoln Tale. Cast your mind back to 1832. There was a man who towered over the crowd, a young fellow named Abraham Lincoln. He stepped forward, leading a volunteer militia into the Black Hawk War, despite knowing nothing about soldiering, no tactics, no military experience whatsoever. During his time in the militia, instead of climbing up the ranks, Lincoln descended from a captain to a private. His political journey, too, was fraught with mediocre outcomes in the Illinois state legislature and the U.S. House of Representatives. And yet, history reveals a different tale, a tale of a man who wielded great influence, who navigated a nation through the tumultuous waters of the Civil War. A man who is celebrated today as one of the most cherished leaders in American history. What transpired? Ladies and gentlemen, we come to what is called the law of influence. The true essence of leadership is not about physical strength, charisma, or even an impressive birthright. It is all about influence. And how, you may wonder, can you obtain this influence? The answer lies in two key realms: character and knowledge. Your character, the innermost part of who you are, may seem intangible, yet those who choose to follow you have a knack for sensing this character, the authentic you. The clearer they can perceive this authenticity, the more they will continue to follow. Knowledge, the second key, is not always a result of formal education. Lincoln never set foot in a college, yet he was a sage, as evident in his eloquent speeches. Abraham Lincoln personified not only the law of influence, but also the law of empowerment. This principle holds that true leaders, secure in their roles, are not threatened by empowering others. Consider how Lincoln assembled his cabinet. He did not surround himself with nodding yes-men, but rather those who would question him, presenting diverse viewpoints. For Lincoln, fostering diverse opinions surpassed personal comfort. His adherence to the law of empowerment was further evident in his approach towards his military generals. He gave credit where it was due, and if they fell short, he bore the burden. The Union generals thrived because Lincoln's unwavering leadership emboldened them. But what fueled Lincoln's successful application of the law of empowerment? It was his unwavering belief in others. When you demonstrate faith in someone, it becomes nearly impossible for them to not believe in themselves. Ask yourself today, do you believe in the people around you? If you are unsure, consider this. Jot down the names of those closest to you and rate their potential, not their current abilities, on a scale of 1 to 10. If your ratings are low, perhaps it is time for some reflection. Your belief in others may need some nurturing. Now, for each person, note down their strongest qualities. Imagine what they could accomplish if they harnessed these strengths fully. What potential futures could they embrace? How might you aid in their journey to success? My friends, in doing this, you are beginning to embody the laws of influence and empowerment, the essence of true leadership. The power of perseverance and the gravity of greatness. Imagine a French ambassador journeying through the wilderness with none other than President Theodore Roosevelt. Picture them confronted by a sprawling stream blocking their path. Roosevelt, the embodiment of bravery and audacity, undresses without a word, signaling an unspoken challenge to cross the river. What could be more natural for a man of such vibrancy? This vigor was innate to Roosevelt, though. Born frail, tormented by severe asthma, and encumbered by poor eyesight, he was far from the figure of robust health that he would later become. The uncertainty of his survival loomed large. Yet, at the tender age of 12, Roosevelt made a profound decision. He chose to embrace the power of perseverance, a law dictating that leadership does not bloom overnight, but blossoms slowly, nurtured by relentless effort and dedication. With each lift of a weight, every step on a hike, and every stride on horseback, he fortified his strength. He was not transformed in an instant, but over time. He molded himself into the stalwart figurehead we honor today. And Roosevelt's journey to the presidency was no different. From a police commissioner in New York City to a formidable big game hunter, his dedication to continuous growth never wavered. Even in his final hours, a testament to his thirst for knowledge lay beneath his pillow, a book. But Roosevelt did not only exemplify the power of perseverance, he was also a beacon of the gravity of greatness. Like a magnet, he drew people who mirrored his persona. During the Spanish-American War, he led his cavalry unit, the Rough Riders, up the challenging terrain of San Juan Hill. The men who volunteered to join him were not random. They were a precise blend of aristocratic Northerners and rugged cowboys. It was an ideal reflection of Roosevelt himself. A Harvard-educated New Yorker with a heart of a big game hunter and the spirit of the wild Dakotas. Great leaders understand that the right people are not found, they are attracted. In Roosevelt's case, he magnetically drew individuals who mirrored his characteristics. How then do we navigate these two powerful laws? Firstly, consider the power of perseverance. Visualize your pathway to personal growth. Perhaps you have a vague notion of it, but let's make it more tangible. Identify the books that will shape your thinking in the coming months, the conferences that will broaden your horizons, the lectures that will refine your perspective. Be meticulous in your choices and deliberate in carving out time for these pursuits. As for the gravity of greatness, write down the qualities you desire in your followers. Mark those qualities that you possess and those you are yet to attain. If you find yourself staring at a page filled with crosses, do not despair. Rather, view it as a roadmap for growth. To enhance your magnetism, identify mentors, perhaps a professional coach, or a respected colleague who can guide your development in areas where you need strengthening. Embrace the power of perseverance and the gravity of greatness. Let these two laws guide your journey as they guided Theodore Roosevelt's and shape you into the leader you aspire to become. The principles of esteem and the virtue of giving. Consider for a moment the name Moses, the prophetic figure celebrated as the author of the Torah, the hero who divided the Red Sea to shepherd the Israelites to refuge. And now, let us remember another figure, a second Moses, a woman, small, with skin the shade of earth, a gap where her two front teeth should have been. Her true name was Harriet Tubman. Between the years 1850 and 1860, Tubman ventured 19 times from the southern territories of the United States to the north, guiding enslaved individuals to their liberation with the assistance of compassionate individuals along the way. In the scorching summers and the freezing winters, Tubman survived by working as a domestic helper. Then, with the arrival of spring and autumn, she channeled her meager savings to return to the South, aiming to rescue as many souls as possible. And in this courageous endeavor, Tubman did not lose a single person she sought to save, because she refused to let anyone abandon hope. By the start of the Civil War, she had guided more people to freedom than any other American in history. Tubman personified the principle of esteem, the belief that individuals naturally rally behind leaders stronger than themselves. She was a force to be reckoned with, not just among those enslaved, but also among influential figures in the North who invited her to share her experiences at rallies and gatherings. Now, how could Tubman command such respect when the odds were so steeply against her? After all, she was uneducated, had been a slave, and lived in a society that did not value individuals like her. But, as we all know, extraordinary leaders earn respect in many ways. One such way is by showcasing their respect for others. If you offer respect, you will receive respect in return. Another is by displaying bravery. Few could rival Harriet Tubman's unyielding resolve. To her, the task of freeing enslaved individuals was a binary choice: succeed or perish in the attempt. Yet, Tubman also adhered to another golden rule of exceptional leadership, the virtue of giving, centered around the act of serving others. The finest leaders do not seek power or position for themselves, but instead focus on generating positive change. Their primary goal is not to garner accolades, but to enhance the lives of others. Tubman risked it all to serve her people. Why? Because she held them in high regard. When you value others, you inherently enrich their lives. It seems simplistic, and indeed it is. You must always make it clear to those who look up to you that you care, even if it is through small gestures, like sparing 5 minutes from your hectic schedule to exchange hellos. Moreover, you enhance others' lives by elevating your own value. Learn skills to teach them to others. Secure opportunities to share with others. Reflect on your experiences to impart wisdom. Take a moment to contemplate your overall disposition. Is it attuned to assisting others? Think about scenarios where you are expected to cater to others' needs. Do you ever feel impatient, bitter, or self-righteous? If the answer is yes, consider what needs to change. Ask yourself how you can frequently perform minor acts of service for your followers without expecting recognition and without harboring resentment. Manifesting the principles of sacrifice and follower investment. Imagine for a moment the tranquil existence of a man named Martin Luther King Jr. in Montgomery, Alabama. In 1954, he embarks on his journey as a pastor, welcoming not only his first congregation, but also his first child alongside his wife Coretta Scott only a year later. Yet, this tranquil life shattered abruptly, barely a month after their child was born. In December 1955, Rosa Parks was arrested for refusing to surrender her bus seat to a white passenger. This sets the stage for King and fellow black leaders to unite, voicing their outrage against this unjust arrest and the systemic racism entrenched in the United States system. What emerges from this incident is a single-day boycott that soon blossoms into a sustained protest managed by their new coalition, the Montgomery Improvement Association, or MIA, with King elected as its leader. Over the next year, King becomes the voice of this movement, engaging with city leaders and tirelessly advocating for the fair treatment of Black Americans. Their efforts bear fruit in 1956 when the United States Supreme Court eradicates laws sanctioning segregated seating on buses. Yet, for King, this victory comes at a substantial personal price. His journey is marked by arrests on frivolous charges, the threat of violence looming constantly over his household, and an unending wave of death threats and obscene messages. Despite these challenges, King's brave stance against the injustices in the American civil rights movement earns him the prestigious Nobel Peace Prize. His path, however, is marred with sacrifices, from enduring physical harm to ultimately losing his life in an assassination in Memphis, Tennessee in 1968. King epitomizes the principle of sacrifice to its utmost extent. He exemplifies the understanding that leaders must be ready to relinquish a great deal to reach the pinnacle of success. Leaders must prioritize the collective good over individual gain, adopting an approach that benefits the group as a whole. The act of sacrifice is not confined to the beginning of a leader's journey. It is an ongoing process. Many perceive that sacrifices end when they undertake significant life changes, such as relocating to a new city or accepting a reduced salary for a promising position. Yet, sacrifice is a continuous commitment. It is not a one-off transaction. The higher you climb on the leadership ladder, the greater the demands of this commitment must become. King's legacy endures, kept alive by his devoted followers, even after his ultimate demise. This underscores King's masterful grasp of the principle of follower investment. This concept stresses that people are first drawn to the leader, followed by the vision they present. In essence, people pledge their allegiance to leaders first and align with their causes second. As a leader, your task is to ensure that people invest in you. Reflect on what this investment means to those you already lead. Identify your crucial followers and evaluate their level of investment on a scale of 1 to 10. Consider how you can deepen this investment. Can you embody more honesty and authenticity? Can you equip them with superior tools to perform their tasks? Can you facilitate the achievement of their personal objectives? Develop a tailored strategy for each individual. Implement it and observe your credibility soar. Victory unleashed and the mastery of timing. In the era of World War II, when Europe teetered on the precipice of devastation, the Nazi force under Hitler had bulldozed through nations like Poland, France, and Belgium. The shadow of Hitler's ominous vision threatened to subsume these countries completely. Yet, among this chaos stood a few strong spirits, refusing to bow down to Hitler's scheme. Among these rose a beacon, Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of Britain, who embraced what I call victory unleashed. The very essence of the word victory danced at the tip of Churchill's tongue and reverberated with every heartbeat. In his initial address as Prime Minister, his message was singular and clear. You question our objective? The answer is one word: victory. Victory at all costs. Churchill's words were not merely sounds in the wind. He mobilized troops in the Mediterranean, sought alliances with Stalin, the Soviet leader, in spite of his deep-seated disdain for communism, and astutely cultivated a bond with the American president Franklin D. Roosevelt, another stalwart of leadership. The principle of victory unleashed embodies the art of performance under intense strain, the mastery of which can be broken down into three crucial elements. The inaugural component is a unity of vision. In order to ascend, groups must be unified by a singular vision. During those tumultuous war times, the British soldiers and civilians alike stood resolute, their spirits intertwined with Churchill's cause. The second element of victory is a diversity of skills. Just as a football team cannot thrive with only quarterbacks, or an army solely of generals, your group, your team, or your organization must harness the power of diverse skills to truly prosper. A committed leader dedicated to elevating their followers to reach their utmost potential is crucial. Leaders must offer motivation, empowerment, and substance that a team needs to flourish. Churchill, through his iconic speeches transmitted over radio waves, uplifted the collective spirit, preventing morale from plummeting. Here is a question for you. Are you as committed to your team's success as Churchill was? If your answer veers towards the negative, you may encounter obstacles on your path which may overcome you. Remember, live in victory, and you will kindle the fire of victory in your team. In the heart of Churchill's approach lies another vital principle, which I call the mastery of timing. Even the right decisions, if executed at the wrong time, can lead to ruin. Besides his expertise in the principle of victory unleashed, Churchill was an artist of the mastery of timing. Indeed, his victory hinged on it. Any slip in timing, inappropriate words in a pivotal speech, or hasty actions when caution was required could have led to the war being lost. When you lead, contemplate not just the action, but the timing of your action. Reflect upon your past triumphs and failures, and dissect the impact of your timing on each. Did your failures stem from wrong actions or wrong timing? Would your initiatives have thrived had they been launched sooner or later? What obstacles did you face? What were the conditions of the market or industry at that time? By delving into these questions, you can illuminate your own skill with timing and refine it. In the process, becoming a better, more effective leader. This concludes the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership.